What does the Marvel Cinematic Universe look like post-Endgame? Can we all just take a moment to breathe for a second? After waiting 364 days to see what happened to all of our heroes who got dusted in Infinity War, Avengers Endgame is finally here! Finally! And we have answers, but before we even take another moment of your time, know that this video will have major spoilers for Endgame, so seriously, unless you have seen the movie, stay away. Did you just get back from your screening? Cool. Obviously, Endgame's final moments have left the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a state of flux. Tony Stark is dead, as is Natasha Romanoff, and Steve Rogers has basically retired. But does that mean it's the end of the road for Iron Man, Black Widow, and all of our other faves? Not even kinda. So let's break down what the MCU looks like post-Endgame.
We're in the endgame now.
First up, Iron Man. As we mentioned, Tony is out because of a slight case of self-sacrifice, but Iron Man could easily live on. Just in the MCU alone, we have both Pepper Potts and James Rhodes, who could don the red and gold, but with the two in their respective armors of Rescue and War Machine, it's not likely they ditch their current duds. Plus, who else is gonna sign those big checks for Spider-Man? Pepper. Like she did before. However, if we look to the comics, it's easy to see two possibilities. A, someone new like Riri Williams, aka Ironheart, adopts the role, and or B, Tony backed up or downloaded his brainwaves into an AI, possibly even being the AI for Riri's armor, which means that we would still be treated to Tony's snarky wit.
I'm the best.
Next up, Steve Rogers. He is basically retired and an old man. However, that doesn't mean Steve is done. Kevin Feige and company could always have Steve return as Old Man Commander Rogers. It's a brief arc in the comics where Cap loses his super soldier serum and is aged up to appropriate old man age, but is still left in command of S.H.I.E.L.D. And to be honest, the possibility of this happening is slim to none. It is safe to say that Chris Evans is 100% done with the role, but Captain America will live on. As we've seen in the comics, Falcon is now Captain America, and we know he and Winter Soldier are gearing up for their own new miniseries on Disney+.
I hate you.
Now it's going to start to get a little tricky. The other big death in Endgame was Black Widow, so where does her sacrifice leave the status of her upcoming solo film? While we have no doubt that the film is still happening, both Stranger Things' David Harbour and The Mummy's Rachel Weisz are in talks to join, the question remains, how will ScarJo fit into it? The easiest answer is that the film will be a prequel set during or just post the Cold War and would explore Natasha's backstory. However, if we go back to the comics, we could witness the birth of the new Black Widow, who replaces the fallen Natasha, specifically the Marvel Knights Black Widow series with Yelena Belova. Now this brings us to the Hulk. The rights to a Hulk solo film are still a total mess, so we wouldn't expect to see Professor Hulk looking for love anytime soon. However, there is a world where we could see him in another team-up flick a la Thor Ragnarok. Besides being a founding member of the Avengers, he's also a founding member of another team, the Defenders. And no, we do not mean the Netflix crew. Founded by Doc Strange, Hulk, and Namor, and later joined by the Silver Surfer and Valkyrie, the Defenders were a team of Marvel misfits who regularly took on otherworldly threats and the supernatural. We know Marvel is looking for the right place to put Namor, and now that Silver Surfer was reacquired through the Fox deal, the ragtag team of loners would be the perfect mix of destruction, comedy, and heroics, but the emphasis would be on the comedy. So what about everyone's favorite faux hawk sporting, skull-tatted archer Hawkeye? Like most things Disney, expect to see his story continue on in Disney+. Word is that the series will be about him training his replacement, Kate Bishop, presumably so Clint can spend some time with his family. And if their adventures were anything like the Hawkeye comic book by Matt Fraction, consider us signed on, bro. Speaking of Disney+ shows, what about WandaVision? While we are still not so sure about its title, we do know some details, specifically that the Scarlet Witch and reportedly Vision will be in the series, and it'll be set in the 1950s. Yeah, that is a head-scratcher. Now looking back at the comics, we're hard-pressed to really find any story that involves Wanda heading back to the 50s, and though her powers in the books are chaos, magic, and reality warping, movie Wanda's powers are based more in the telekinetic and telepathic. Nonetheless, considering Vision's untimely demise at the hand of Thanos, we would imagine parts, if not most, of the series will involve her attempting to rescue or bring Vision back to life. Another character getting their own Disney Plus series, Loki.
Surprise!
While we knew Tom Hiddleston was attached, we weren't sure if it was going to be a prequel or resurrection series, but based on how past Loki escapes with the Tesseract, it's safe to say that we will follow the adventures of this Loki in an alternate timeline, probably as he puts on more plays for himself.
I'm a trickster. Yes, so mischievous.
As for Thor and his new position with the Asgardians of the Galaxy, could this mean that his next flick will be a mix between Thor 4 and Guardians 3? We know James Gunn had a script for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 before he was removed and then brought back to the movie. Did that script take the events of Endgame into account, or will there need to be a new screenplay? One thing we know for sure is that with Peter Quill searching for Gamora on the ship's computer at the end of Endgame, trying to find if past Gamora is still around will probably be a big part of the plot. What about Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Ants.
Well, despite Scott Lang being the secret heart of Endgame and Wasp getting big cheers when she reappears, we're not too sure about the future of that franchise. We could speculate, with Cassie Lang being old enough to possibly join in on some adventures, but until we really hear any actual news, we're gonna label the Ant family as TBD. Another property that is going to be fresh on the docket is Shang-Chi. While they have yet to cast the Master of Kung Fu, Marvel has reportedly hired a writer and director for the project. MCU head honcho Kevin Feige was surprisingly forthcoming about the flick, saying, "Doing the story of an Asian American hero of Chinese heritage is something that is very intriguing to us. It will be really different and special. Can't wait." And what about Marvel's remaining ladies? Well, considering the fan reaction to that shot in Endgame of all of the female Avengers lined up to help Captain Marvel, Feige and his team would be smart to pursue some type of content around A-Force, the all-ladies Avengers team. If you're not willing to dig out your long boxes, A-Force was a comic series published in 2015 featuring the all-female Avengers squad. And while the shot in Endgame could have just been an homage to A-Force, based on the theater applause for this scene, Marvel would be smart to start coming up with a way to bring the gang back to the big screen. We have a better title though. How about Avenge Hers? That was Aaron's doing! While A-Force's status is a giant to be determined, there is another new team we know for sure that will be joining the Marvel mythos, the Eternals. Now, this group of superheroes was created when the Celestials messed with human evolution and gave rise to humans mistaking the Eternals for the Greek pantheon of gods like Zeus. Now, we still haven't heard much about it beyond that the film is looking to cast Angelina Jolie and Kumail Nanjiani in undisclosed roles, but as Marvel continues to head deeper into the cosmos, using the Eternals to explore the weird of the MCU, a la the Celestials and Titans, would be the perfect mission statement for the team. Now moving on to everyone's favorite wall-crawling teen, Spider-Man. Spider-Man Far From Home is the next slated release on the Marvel docket, hitting theaters this July, and we know it will be the epilogue which closes out Phase 3. We imagine Far From Home will focus on Peter readjusting to life since the snapping and grieving for his fallen mentor, Tony Stark, amidst Peter's European adventures. After Far From Home, well, Tom Holland will have filmed 5 of his 6 Spider-Man films, so will he sign on for more? Based on the fun that it appears he's having, we don't think he is ready to Chris Evans the role just yet. And finally, where does this leave Captain Marvel? Since she just made her MCU debut, she's not going anywhere anytime soon. However, she's literally the definition of OP, so to have her deal with simple Earth problems like bank robberies or stopping bike thieves seems a little outside of her power level. So we're guessing Captain Marvel 2 or future sequels will be cosmic outings. So there you have it, everything we know about the future of Marvel as it stands with a nice amount of speculation to boot. According to Kevin Feige, once Spider-Man Far From Home hits the big screen, we will finally get some real answers as to what we can expect from Phase 4. Will it come at D23? Will it come at Comic-Con's Hall H? Time will tell, but we can't wait. However, what do you folks think? What are you most excited about on Marvel's upcoming horizon? What characters or teams do you think should get their own movies? And do you think Tony Stark's and Pepper Potts' celebrity name should be Pepperoni?
Yeah. Yes? No.
Absolutely, yes it does. I mean, I guess we can discuss it, but why mess with perfection? Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and mash that little bell to get notified every time we drop a new video or go live with the show. And don't forget, this weekend is the Battle of Winterfell, and you can bet your butt we're going to be breaking it down on Monday during All Kings Considered, our Game of Thrones after show. You can catch it live on Monday at 12 noon Pacific on Nerdist YouTube and Geek and Sundry's Twitch.